We are
Good
back
morning.
again. We are back again with our scientific session today. We have with us our esteemed chairperson for the scientific session, Dr. T. Sivakami, madam. We welcome
Morning,
you,
sir.
ma'am. Yes,
Good morning, ma'am.
madam is
Morning, sir.
professor and head Department of Anatomy from Government Tanjavur Medical College, Tanjavur. Madam has completed her MBBS from Coimbatore Medical College in 1989. Madam has completed her MS Anatomy from Tanjavur Medical College in 1994. Madam has got a total teaching experience of 27 years for both UG and the postgraduate. Madam has served as vice principal from 2010 to 2017. Madam's professional achievements and awards include: Madam has been recognized as a PhD guide by Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University, has been resource person for various national conferences, has delivered guest lectures for more than 30 CMEs and conferences, has published nearly 23 papers in reputed national and international journals. Madam has also organized more than 20 CMEs, and these are the credits added to Madam. We welcome you, ma'am. Next, we have with us our second chairperson for today's session, Dr. Rashmi Avinash Patel. Professor.
Good afternoon, sir.
We welcome you, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Madam is from St. GS Medical College and KIM Hospital, Mumbai. Madam has received her qualification, completed MBBS in 2000 from Mumbai University, has completed her MD Anatomy in 2006 from Mumbai University, has completed her DNB course in 2008 from NB Delhi. Adding to her credit, the following are the professional achievements and awards. Madam is a recipient of Dr. Kulkatkar Memorial Award in MD Anatomy examination and has 4 best paper and poster presentation in various conferences. Madam has guided 3 famous projects. Madam is a member of Institute Committee for National Assessment and Accreditation Council, has published 12 publications in reputed national and international journal. Madam's area of interest includes gross anatomy, radiology, and medical education. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
I request the chairperson to introduce our speaker today. Over to you.
Thank you. Yeah. Am I audible?
Loud
Yes,
and clear.
Yes. So very good afternoon to everyone here. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce to you a very socially and academically active, our own fellow anatomist and familiarian, Dr. Kumar Sathish Ravi. Dr. Kumar Sathish Ravi has done his undergraduation from Muzaffarpur and post-graduation from Jipur, Pondicherry. Sir is a FAMER fellow from Manipal University and also a fellow of IMSA. He has done diploma in literature and currently he is designated as professor additional in the Department of Anatomy, AIIMS Rishikesh. Apart from his designated post, he has additional responsibilities as well. And he is an additional proctor and assistant controller of examination at his institute. Also ex-sub-dean in academics and ex-assistant dean academics. Formerly, he was AP and post director of head of anatomy, School of Medicine, Spartan Health Sciences University, St. Lucia, North America. Sir is a member of various national and international associations as well. And he is a recipient of Best Teachers Award in 2018, a Young Researcher Award in 2021, Best Researcher Award and Best Professor of the Year Award in 2021. Also, he has Best Paper Presentation Awards for 3 times. He has more than 75 publications to his credit. And apart from doing all this, Sir also is currently pursuing his PhD from his own institute. He has a research gate score of whooping of 37.12. That itself shows how much he is involved into the publication and on. And also, last but not the least, he is editor-in-chief of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, which we are very proud of. And Sir is the chief editor of Snell's Clinical Neuroanatomy, the South Asian edition. He's reviewer of Gray's Anatomy as well, the Anatomical Basis of Clinical Practice, the International edition. So I think this is very short to speak about Sir. There are many more things which we will obviously get to know from his presentation as well. A very apt topic on which Sir is speaking. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so
Welcome,
much.
sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
For the wonderful introduction, ma'am. I'm honored. And
Thank you, sir.
I'll just share my slide.
Yes.
A small request to the participants. You can type your queries in the chat box. Speaker will be very happy to address at the end of the session.
Whether my slide is visible?
Yes, sir. Your slide is clear,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay. So good afternoon, one and all. Respected Chairperson, Dr. Patil ma'am, Dr. Sivkami ma'am, for the learned anatomists of the country, and Dr. Patil is well and known to me, very my colleague, in fact. Dr. Kami ma'am is very senior anatomist, and all the participants who are attending this conference. So first of all, I would like to congratulate and thank all the members of the organizing committee, including Dr. Manju ma'am, Dr. Lakshmi ma'am of AVMC, and especially Professor and Head of Anatomy and the Vice Principal of AVMC, Dr. Rajan sir, for the tremendous job what sir is doing by organizing the various academic events, you say, for the benefit of the preclinical fraternity. And apart from that, I also thank him for inviting me to deliver this guest lecture. I thank each and every delegate for attending this conference because I always say that it's the participation of the delegates that makes any academic event a success, or you say the grand success. So today I will be talking on the topic which has been assigned to me, that is the technology to reach out the current generation students. I hope you will enjoy the talk. So before I start my talk, let me clear that I'm here neither to teach any newer technology nor to promote any of the technology. I will be just sharing my thoughts how this medical education, especially I'll be talking about the anatomy, which can be made relevant to the present generation by incorporating the various new technologies which are presently available globally, and some of them which are available presently in our country as well. So with this, the technology, because now when during this pandemic, when you say we are more pro towards the technology and the advancement in technology, we are witnessing, you say, the revolution in every aspect of life. And when we talk about the education, education is not an exception for this, right? So although this medical education, when we say, right, it is slowly seeing the digital impact in recent days, but the newer, whatever the newer technologies we are having, these are of paramount importance in reaching the present generation students, and that too very effectively, I can say. So before we proceed to know about the various technologies to reach out the current generation students, first we'll see briefly how the teaching has been, or you say the evolution of teaching, in particular to the you say the medical teaching. So when we talk about the history, right, in early Middle Ages, the doctors to be were not students. They were apprentices and taught something about the herbs and the surgical skills by the senior or the older peers, you say. So then came a transition at the end of the 10th century, and that witnessed the pre-academic teaching, right? So this was followed by the establishment of the institutions, you say, and apart from that, you say the enrollment of the students, or apart from that, we can say that there was the development of the pedagogy. So all this at the end of the 10th century we witnessed, right? And then when we see over here in this slides, so doctors were restricted to static, right? So those were non-improvable book learning, you can say, And when we talk about the dissections, these dissections were done to confirm. These dissections were not used to do, means to discover something like that. So when we talk about this ex cathedra teaching, which is certainly not flexible, but other didactic methods, you say, either you say the didactic lecture or the methods that gave this rational knowledge and its epistemology and academic dignity. So when we talk about this postmortem, apart from the dissection, the postmortem dissections were there, and they were no longer merely done to prove, you say, the Galen's words, right, but to scientifically correct them. Now, the diffusion of this printed texts and the drawings, whatever were there, that fostered the birth of the individual opinions, you say, right? And towards the end of the 16th or the 17th century, in addition to the books, the knowledge now rested on the observations, you say, and are measured on the, you say, the experiments which were performed with the new instruments. So then a new medical concept developed, and that we say barrier between the surgery and the medicine which were there was dismantled. And at the end of the 19th century, you say, the medical studies were studied par excellence, and you can say that the ideal mechanism for a respectable social promotion. And at the top of this aristocracy of knowledge, you can say that the doctor sat, right? So this is all about the history. Now coming to the present, even till recently, when we say, right, the teaching in the medical colleges were done basically by the chalk and board, you can say, which was gradually replaced by this overhead projector sheets. And I think nowadays in most of the medical colleges, we are using this PowerPoint presentations. Though I don't recommend as such the PowerPoint presentations, but definitely with the chalk and board, definitely we should use this PowerPoint presentations to make the teaching and learning process the more, you say, the emphatic or the good, you say. Now, when we see, talk about this current generation, right? So with this background, it is also essential to know what does this current generation students refer to. This current generation students, when we say these current generation students are referred as the Z students, you say, that is the Zoomers, or you say Gen Tech, or the post millennials, I generation. Today, the current generation, or you say the Z students, they account for the vast majority of the students, right? Now, like every generation, the generation Z has the very characteristic or the distinct characteristic features you will find, especially when it's come to the learning. Their classrooms, when you say, that will look different from than those were of the millennial or the previous generations. So they turn to the different sources of the information, you can say, than the whatever the sources the predecessors were having. So they consume that information and use it in ways that millennials or the, you say, the X generations never dreamed of, because these technologies or the infrastructures were not available those days. Now, when we talk about this generation Z students, right, these students show some trends that are particularly relevant in the classroom. Now, the current generation students are the digital natives, you say. Now, these students are the first generation to grow up with the internet access, you say, right? Now, playing on computers, or you say tapping on the smartphones, the iPad, or you say the tablets, and apart from that, some members can't remember a life without these smartphones, you say, or the iPad, right? So these technologies, it's simply part of the fabric of everyday life nowadays, you can say, rather than a tool what they use. So for them, this is little to no separation between in-person and the online experiences. Now, because this video chatting is there every day, they are in touch via the video chat, or the, you say, earlier, like we have only Skype, but now the various modalities are there, where various technologies are there, right? From the morning till evening, you can be online, you can be in touch with the person. So that's what I wanted to say, that there is no or you say the little separation between the in-person or the online experiences you will be having, the present generation. Now they rely on the social media to connect. They will be having 5,000 or the thousands of friends on the Facebook, or you have the Instagram or the Twitter, something like that. So they rely on the social media to connect, to watch, listen, or even to read, play, and share. So the most popular platforms, they can change and shift over at the time, or means anytime you can say, because when we see, like earlier we had Orkut, now there is no Orkut, only Facebook is there, right? So they can change, there will be a shift with the passage of the time. So the literature says that right now you can expect students in this generation to spend roughly 6 hours a day on you say the Snapchat, a chat, you say, or the TikTok, Instagram, or the most importantly, you can say the YouTube. Now, they want in-person interaction, definitely, right? So they make tech-savvy students, and much of their social lives, when we talk about that, takes place online, right? But members of this generation also value the, I said, that in-person interaction, or you say the face-to-face interaction, and apart from that, the collaboration, you say. So they extend that into the classroom, and you will find that the current generation, that is the 57% of the current generation students prefer in-person learning activities with the classmates. Whereas the millennials, when we talk about the previous generations, that number is just 47%, right? So what I wanted to say, that they expect personalized and on-demand experiences. When they want to watch a movie, there is a Netflix is there. When they want to buy something, there is Amazon, or you say the Flipkart. Then apart from that, Snapdeal. So many the platforms are there. So much of the current generation students' life is lived on demand. That influenced by the, you say, the algorithms that populate their news feeds, because now, because of the artificial intelligence, suppose at one photograph you stop your this mouse, right? The same kind of the advertisements you will be getting. Suppose you are seeing one ad of shirt on the Facebook, right? You stay over for a few seconds, you will be getting the plenty of ads, right, related to the various kind of shirts. So their life means, because of these new news feeds, the suggested contents and the recommended products, right? So these are the things, because of that they are more influenced, and they are because of the tech savvy, you say, that they have on-demand experiences. Now, when we talk about this current generation students, they have shorter attention spans. Why say? Because the research anyway, which measures the average current generation students, the attention span, it is just 8 seconds. When we talk about the current generation students, the attention span is only 8 seconds, you say, compared to that of the millennials. When we compare, right, who clock in, you say, the 12 seconds on average. So what I wanted to say, that the current generation students, they have shorter attention spans, right? Now, the possible explanations maybe for the, you say, because of the drop, include the pervasiveness of on-demand services, and you can say, apart from that, the smartphones, the iPads, the tablets, the computers. These are the reasons, because of the reasons for the short attention spans. Now, the current generation students, they are practical also. They value self-reliance and, you say, the independence. Particularly when we talk about the self-directed learning, they are likely to search a video on YouTube to learn a new skill also. Whatever the lectures we are taking in the classrooms, right? They will go to the hostels, they will try to find those lectures on the YouTube, and they will try to learn those subjects via the videos on the YouTube, or there are the different platforms, like we have the Najib's lecture and all. So there are different platforms via that they will try to learn the subject, or you say even the new skill that will be explained via these videos. Either you say the YouTube or the different videos are there. They will be explaining the new concept or the, you say, the subject, right? So their pragmatic attitude extends to the matters of the money, you say, and the social issues as well. So now coming to the learning preferences, when we see before that, so the students in the classroom, there may be some of the students in the classrooms that will differ quite widely from the Z generation students, right? Because of the availability of the infrastructure to the some of the students, because there are students, those who might not be exposed to the iPhone, or you say the different computers, the laptops. So there will be the variety, right? Now, what I wanted to say that millennials were raised with technologies too, but there was the key difference was there. They were not so much dependent on the technology, right? But nowadays we are more pro towards the technologies, right? They were not always surrounded by these stuffs, you say, the technologies, be it the smartphones or the computers or something like that. They were not so usual. Now they straddle a time between, you say, the analog and the digital. So their classrooms were dominated by the textbooks and the chalkboards, unlike the current generation students who prefer the tablets, or you say the smart boards. Nowadays the smart classrooms are there. So let's take a look at the methods that resonate with the Z generation students' characteristics, and this make teaching the Z generation students easier, right? So Z generation students, a generation born into a hyper-connected world, prefers a training strategy that attracts them toward the learning, and the micro learning fits the bill, you can say. Now, when we go through the survey, through the literature, what we find that the current generation want to tackle the challenges in a fully immersive environment that lets them conduct their own research, you say, or let them make their own decisions and take the actions, you say. So not only do they find hands-on learning to be more effective, but this current generation students also say that it helps them make learning more fun and the interactive as well. Now, there is we will not be surprised that the 64% interactive classroom discussions and the 60% working through problems as the most helpful tools for the learning, you say. Compared to that, just of 38% prefer learning by seeing, I mean to say by reading course materials, and the 12% you say value or learning by is listening. That is, I mean to say that learning by the classroom lectures. And when we talk about the present, this competency-based medical education, this current competency-based medical education also stresses on the acquisition of the skills, starting from the very first MBBS, which adds to learn better by the practical knowledge, you can say. Now, when we see over here, close this whatever the textbooks which we are having, right? Because today's students are overwhelming, as I said, turning towards the video platforms like YouTube for learning. Now, only not only this current generation spend a significant amount of time on YouTube every day, maybe up to, you can say, 3 to 4 hours or more than that. To be exact, you can say that 59% of the students, they say that it is their preferred learning method, right? In fact, video is already a prominent in teaching current generation, with 55%, you say, reporting that YouTube has contributed to their education, specifically when we talk about this pandemic in the COVID, during the COVID period. So this has contributed towards their education, or you say learning, or up to the extent even to the personal development. So it also satisfies their desire, as I said, for on-demand content. Right now, suppose even though the neuroanatomy lectures are going on in the you say the college, medical colleges, but if they want to revise this upper limb, immediately they will click the YouTube and they will find the lectures of the brachial plexus or the upper limb, you say. So that is on-demand content available is there, and they are the tech forward, you say. They prefer learning on the video. So during pandemic, we have seen many teachers also, the faculty of the anatomies, they have uploaded their lectures like anything. Every day we used to see on the WhatsApp group or on the social medias that the faculty members are uploading their each and every lectures on the YouTube, so that the students, even sitting at their home, they can learn through these video lectures. Right now, just for an example, I'm playing one of the faculty's video.
This is a brief overview of the embryological rotation of the midgut. Arterial blood to the gut tube is supplied by the abdominal aorta. The gut tube is composed of the foregut with blood supply from the celiac artery, the midgut with blood supply from the superior mesenteric artery, and the hindgut with blood supply from the inferior mesenteric artery. During the 5th week of development, the midgut starts to loop ventrally, herniating into the umbilical cord. This growth process creates much of the resulting length of the intestines. The cranial limb of this midgut extension will ultimately form the distal duodenum, jejunum, and part of the ileum. The caudal limb of this midgut extension will ultimately form the distal ileum, cecum.
So
appendix,
what I wanted
ascending
to say, that when we teach this, suppose this midgut rotation by chalk and board, and then by playing this animated videos, right? Definitely, when we compare the learning with the chalk and board and with these animated videos, the students' response will be very positive, because it will have a great learning impact. So that is what I wanted to say, that along with this chalk and board, these technologies we can use.
This is a brief overview.
Now, when we talk about this social learning, the collaboration counts, right, for this generation. And that seeks to engage, either you say to share the knowledge, you can say, or you can co-create with the from others online, or you can say the offline. So their social learning networks could include their classmates, it may be the friends, or even the family, and even the peers from around the world, right? Different parts of the country or the world, they can involve their peers or the friends, and then this social learning will allow students to learn from each other, either you say through observation or through the participation, discussion, or different ways of solving the problems faster than learning by own, you can say, right? So these are the different ways. When we talk about this, the preference, right? They prefer to study. Then if you see this social learning, means in the current generation students, the 80% will tell that they prefer to learn with the friends. Even we teacher, we say to our students that try to learn anatomy with your friends, try to discuss whatever the topics you are studying, try to discuss with your friends, and definitely that way you will learn better. So 60% of the students, you can say, they're happy to share their knowledge online with their colleagues or the friends, you say. Now, apart from this social learning, when we say, we have the personalized learning. Now, when these classrooms are there, right, this classroom activities and the instruction will be there, that will involve the multiple formats, like the different levels of the challenges will be there. And apart from that, we will have the different options for the assessment learning. It can be, you say, the tailored for each other students' individual needs. So what I wanted to say, that adapting learning is an example of personalization in action. So it depends on the students, the different various students. So the involving students in learning, you say the decisions and direction can help the students in their personalized experience without overburdening the teachers as well. So personalized learning prefers to an individualized form of learning, which can be programmed. If you see the personalized learning, this figure shows there are different important components of the personalized learning, like we have this integrated digital content. Apart from that, we have the targeted instruction, right? And the data driven decisions are there, student reflections and ownership will be there. So what I wanted to say, that due to differences in the individual students' learning style and the innovative changes in the technologies, this personal learning has become a recent approach to deliver student-centered teaching by the educators, or you say the health educators, right? So when we see this social learning or the personalized learning, we have another way of learning, that is the hybrid learning. Now, this current generation students transition smoothly between online and in-person interaction, whether it is the way they socialize with each other, right, or the way they learn. So hybrid learning is all about the blending the traditional classroom, what we can see in the diagram over here, with the methods of the using the e-learning. And the better news is that for this generation, the technology has a huge role to play when teaching these generation students. So you can teach them in the class, and immediately you can assess using some of the apps, like when we talk about the Kahoot app, right? So this Kahoot app can be a platform that lets the teachers and the students create and use different kinds of the multiple choice questions, or you say the clinical vignettes in a simple way through the you say the online, or even in the classroom they can be assessed. So these are the various ways which can be used. And apart from that, we can focus on the cross-disciplinary alignment. So what I wanted to say, that with this cross-disciplinary alignment, right, the current generation students, they are classroom friendly. So consider building these aspects into your curriculum mapping and lesson planning processes. Like when we talk about, when we are teaching this anatomy, right, connect and promote learning across several subjects. Like anatomy, when we are discussing anatomy, when we can discuss the pathology, after discussing this normal structure, we can discuss about the abnormal structure. Then accordingly, we can discuss the medicine and the surgery. So we can follow this horizontal, or you say the vertical integration, and this will not only serve to keep the students engaged, but it also provides the opportunities for making the concepts the interesting, right? So this cross-disciplinary alignment also we can follow. Then apart from that, the student informed learning. The students' opportunities means whenever we give the students opportunity to get involved in their own development, right, that will offer more choice in how they want to consume the classroom materials, or you say the complete assignments, or you say they receive the assessment or the access resources. So we should make it more relevant when we involve the students. Apart from that, there are the different technology, like we have this integrated technology. So don't leave those iPads or the tabs at the front of the classroom, but find ways to include them in your lessons apart from leaving those. So teach means these technical instruments, the equipments can be our friend when it comes to engaging these present generation students. Like when we there is a study which has reported that the common medical education, this applications used by the students, where when we talk about when we teach, or when they learn anatomy, where the medical dictionary in the first MBBS, whereas when we talk about the second MBBS, they were using this medical dictionary. Apart from that, the Medscape and the Google or the Wikipedia, right? Similarly, when we talk about this third MBBS students, they were using this Google or the Wikipedia, and apart from that, the prognosis or the diagnosis apps are there. So more than 90% of the students were there. They were using some of the applications or the technological skills to use these smartphones, right? So what is happening, that these smartphones for the medical students can be used as a learning aid for the various medical applications, which is rapidly advancing, right? I think we are short of time. We'll try to finish over here. So apart from that, there are the visual aids are also there. Like when we say visual aids, that means you say the visual, audio, reading, and the kinesthetic. So for example, when we talk about anatomy, we use more of the visual aids to provide better understanding. Similarly, when we can use stories or the different case scenarios when we discuss the physiology for understanding the different concepts, right? Now, there are the general preferences are there when we talk about the recent technologies in anatomy. So anatomy teaching or the anatomy education that merely started with the background method has evolved through the overhead projector, the PowerPoint, you say the presentation. We have the 3D models, the virtual dissections, and now online teaching, you say the 3D virtual dissections are there. So where there are different models are there by which we can teach them. We will skip, right? So apart from that, we have the web-based learning. Then apart from that, we have the different, you say the computer-based educational programs are there, right? Then apart from that, we can see over here that virtual classrooms are there, anatomy studios are there, right? Then we have this artificial intelligence, the humanoid robots are there, the various technologies are there. Then apart from that, we have this cloud technology. Then the 3D stereoscopies are there. We have this virtual dissection. It is very common nowadays because even the NMC, when we talk about this National Medical Commission, they have this virtual dissection table they have recommended in all the medical colleges, right? Now, when we say even in our institute, we have the 5 virtual dissectors. So during this pandemic, the most of the medical colleges, they were using this virtual dissection table because of the scarcity of the cadavers, and this the classroom teachings were off. So they started depending on the various technologies, right? Now we have this high fidelity simulators are also there. So there are different technologies are there which the people are using to teach and train the students. Apart from that, we have different imaging modalities are there, right? Then apart from that, we have the haptic technology or the immersion. In this, you can see the virtual reality will be there, which will be apart from that will be associated with this augment reality. So what I wanted to say that there are different technologies which we can use to teach and train the students. Apart from that, even the 3D printing technologies are there by which you can see that we have at AIIMS Rishikesh, we have prepared the different models, right, which we cannot see by the naked eyes, like you can say even the ear ossicles are there, which these can be prepared by the 3D printing technologies, right? Apart from that, we have the different social medias, right? These social medias are also being used to teach and train. There are the different WhatsApp groups are there. With the help of the WhatsApp group also, we provide the different teaching materials, and we discuss the different problems we try to solve on the WhatsApp groups. So these social medias are also being used to teach and train the students. Now, these are the different literatures you can go through, right, what we have worked on. So this will be the further thoughts you can go through, that what are the different technologies nowadays we are using to teach and train specifically the anatomy, right? So we have published this integration of this innovative educational technologies in anatomy technology, the new normal in anatomy education. Similarly, you can see over here the potential scope of the humanoid robot in anatomy education, and even the artificial intelligence, whether in anatomy, what kind of role it will play. So these things you can go through and you can learn. So what is the, you can say, the take-home message of today's, what I wanted to say, that the continual integration of the technology into education is crucial for the improvement of the learning outcomes and addressing the cognitive load associated with the volume of anatomy education and training, because we have limited time, and in the limited time, we have to give so much of information, right, to the students. So the certain traditional, you can say, the practices are almost synonymous, which are being used, because you say the cadaveric dissection cannot be replaced, right? With the help of the, apart from this cadaveric dissection, we can use the different technologies. So the traditional methods will be there. These traditional methods were facing challenges during the pandemic because of the scarcity of the cadavers. But when we say this, if the pandemic lasts for several years, suppose if it would have been continued, right? So it would have been impossible to teach the students in the traditional ways. So technology remains, you say, the dependable means to guarantee that the students do not have to bear the deficits which are resulted because of this, you say, the pandemic, right? Whatever is not available. So there is no chances that we should only be dependent on the cadaveric dissection, but we can use the different technologies to teach and train the students. So we should, there should be the judicial use of these technologies and creative adaptations should be there in the need of the hour, because there may be things are changing. So accordingly, we should change also. We should not stick to the traditional methods, and we should be open to the different technologies which are coming up. So you can refer to the various articles, and this is all about, I wanted to say that we should be open to the technologies what we are getting nowadays. So because of the scarcity of time, we couldn't cover much, but what message I wanted to give, I've given. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Sivakami, ma'am.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, good afternoon, sir. Dr. Ravi, sir,
Yes, ma'am.
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I'm audible.
Yes, sir. As usual, you rock the sessions
Thank you, ma'am.
with your inputs, and I don't know much. I don't want to say much about it. And so, as you said, anything is the cadaver is the best means of the teaching, and with little yeah, I am for hybrid learning, sir. That is the thing.
Why? Because, ma'am, see, when we talk about this, why cadaveric dissection is still relevant, and it will remain relevant, right? Because
Yes, sir.
it cannot be technology based. When you have to feel the
Yes.
artery, when you have to feel the nerve, right?
Yes,
When
sir.
you're operating on the table, you should have
Yeah.
that. By feel only, you can differentiate that, okay, this is the artery, this is the nerve,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And
Hmm.
in the technology, that empathy will not be there, ma'am, right? So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
when we are in the dissection hall, right, not only we give the subject material, we also
Yes.
teach them the different, you say the sympathy or the empathy, different things we teach, right? They learn how to deal with people,
Yes, sir.
right? So those things
Yes,
are
sir.
required. We should not be
Yes, sir.
completely dependent on the technology.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I want to tell you a feedback. One of our house surgeons, she finished the course and she came to anatomy department and she wanted, ma'am, I want to see the heart again. And I want to recapitulate all the structures and the parts and the course of the coronary arteries and the heart. She came after finishing her course. So that is what, see, the one thing is this, the tactile sensibility which we provide in this cadaveric section, and moreover that too is more prominent in the cadaveric workshops also, sir. That's what I wanted to say.
Right, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your wonderful and excellent speech, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Ilaguru, sir, for
Thank you, ma'am.
giving me an opportunity. Thank you so much, sir.
Can I comment?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Hello. Yes, Dr. Sathish Ravi.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah. So it was an excellent presentation. I think that definitely we all anatomists would agree that we cannot replace dissection. So dissection is going to be there as a part and parcel of our curriculum and as well. What I feel is probably as per your topic, because it was technology to reach out to the current generation. And as we all know, there are all those alpha generation now which is coming. Probably it's time for us to change because COVID has taught us. Maybe it was the right time where we learned probably we should tune to our students. So I feel because that generation is more into technological aspects rather than what we are probably. So probably all these programs and all this technology, a part of it, probably we should know. This is what I feel. I may be wrong, but I don't say that cadaver is totally outdated. No, it will never be because it is the one which is required. This is something as aided, as you also mentioned in your session, that it needs to be aided.
Right.
My question was, you mentioned that, yes, NMC has incorporated that each institute should have the anatomy table and all. It has mentioned, but then I just wanted to stress upon that still major institutes do not have basic requirement as internet connection as such. So using Kahoot app and other apps to make our session technologically great, it is good, but then this basic amenities need to be provided. Probably the institutions, if that is a guidelines or that is one of the criteria, it becomes a mandate. Probably institutes would work on it.
Exactly.
But I belong to a municipal corporation institute, a government institute, and there probably we had issues during COVID because we never had this stable internet connectivity. COVID times we could manage with somehow or the other, but then if it has to come from an institute with a stable source to cater to so many.
I think there is some network issue.
Network issues, sir.
So,
Am I audible?
Yes,
you-
ma'am. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
sorry. So I probably feel somewhere that measures need to be taken as well. So that has to be there, and more stress has to be given on peer teaching,
Right, ma'am.
because peer teaching is one probably which can help our students. They have incorporated SDLs, self-directed learning,
Right.
but somewhere peer teaching should also be included. This is what I feel.
I fully agree, ma'am. Whatever is there means what I would like to say, that there should be appropriate amalgamation of the technology, right? We should not be dependent, and still this means you say that
As well,
strong educators are required by the current generation students, right? For the learning and the development, you say. Though they
Yes.
need this strong means the leading educators, right, to train them. And I fully agree with you that there are most of the institutes, they do not have these virtual dissection tables still at present, even though this NMC has recommended. NMC has not made it mandatory, but they have suggested that.
Over a course, that's what I'm saying. Over a course, they may procure it. But what I'm trying to say, the basic amenities needs to be there in place.
Exactly.
Rather than having such things, because the cadaver is the main thing which we should have probably. During COVID, we had dearth of cadavers. We were not supposed to embalm and all those things. So that was so maybe table is good, but it is still not to the absolute mark. It cannot ever replace cadaver. That is what I feel.
We don't get fund also, especially when we talk about the basic departments. We don't get, even in the medical college, means we don't get funds. I fully agree with that. But whatever the technologies are there, what I wanted to say, that we should be open to that, right? Whatever the possibilities are there, we can always work on that.
Yes, sir.
Can I speak, sir?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, you are in line. And we don't see any queries in the chat box, sir. If it is there, we will forward to you, sir. You can just
Okay.
answer them. We'll distribute to the participants.
Dr. Elizabeth, 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Just to say hi to sir.
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir? Thank you so much, sir, for joining with us.
Yes, sir. It's always pleasure to be. And I really appreciate the way you organize. I see you as a man of academic events, sir. The way you organize the conference, it is extremely means good. So many things to learn. Today also, I was watching everything, how to organize the conference on the means this online platform, right? You say the even lamp lighting ceremony and all, then national anthem, everything was done as we follow in the, you say, the physical conference, right? So nothing you have missed, sir, in the online conference. And I really I'm grateful to you that you give me an opportunity to deliver the talk. I would have got more time to discuss in depth, but because of the scarcity of time, I couldn't discuss in depth. No problem. It's some other day we'll discuss it.
Yeah, we'll meet in other platforms, sir, physically.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Swami, ma'am, Sarla, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you. Hello, sir. How are you? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay,
Bye
Elizabeth.
bye.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Sir. Thank you, ma'am. That was a wonderful presentation, sir. Now it's time to honor our speaker with a certificate and memento. We also would like to honor our chairperson today, Dr. T. Sivakami ma'am, with a certificate and memento. Followed by, we would also like to appreciate Dr. Rashmi ma'am for being chairperson for the scientific session today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
It's my honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.